Okay, and sorry, this is not Antonio. Obviously, this is Linda.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
I was informed Antonio is going to present. Sorry, Linda. Okay, go ahead.
No problem. Yeah, so my name's Linda. I'm working for Funding Box, and we're the partner looking after the open calls and the management of the applications. So today I'm going to go through a few topics on the smart call goals, the verticals, the value proposition of the open call, the current open calls, how to apply the selection process, evaluation criteria, financial support, deliverables, the schedule, application submission, and then there'll be some time at the end for some questions. So what are the smart role goals? I know Nico's already covered this, but I'm just going to repeat to build cross-border experiments to transfer knowledge and technology between academia and industry in customized low energy computing for cyber physical systems and the Internet of Things. In addition, we want to accelerate digital transformation and increase digital skills in underrepresented geographical areas, especially in southeastern European countries within the smart role verticals. So what are the verticals? We're focused on customized low energy computing for cyber physical systems and Internet of Things within digitized transport, digitized environment, digitized agriculture, and digitized anything. So here in this table, we have a list of lots of ideas of subjects within these verticals. You can find this table within the guide for applicants as well if you want to see it yourself later on. So the open calls, within this project, we have 9 open calls that are supporting 67 cross-border Pathfinder application experiments. These open calls are spread over three different types. We've got knowledge transfer experiments, which are a shorter knowledge transfer project, which is 3 months. Then we've got FTE, which is focused at technology transfer experiments, and CTTE, which is the one I'm going to focus on in this presentation, which is the cross-domain tech transfer experiments. These open calls are running over 3 years, so we launch 3 open calls every year. 2 have already completed. We've completed 1 for KTE and completed 1 for FTTE, and the current first CTTE is currently running. What will you get? So for this CTTE, there's equity-free funding of up to €80,000 per Pathfinder experiment. On top of that, there's also support and coaching available from our experts in technology and business development, public and private funding possibilities, and also coaching in ethics. There's also the marketplace as a service, which will provide tools and services that you need for developing a prototype, manufacturing phases, and also there's brokerage, coaching, and guidance to access funds for market growth. Okay, so this CTTE, cross-domain technology transfer experiment, in this particular one academic industrial technology provider transfers a novel technology to one industrial technology receiver partner as an early adopter, and then the third partner in the consortium will be an industrial productization partner, which extends the value chain. So in other words, finds the users and spreads the product and builds the business. The duration of this project is 9 months. And the open call opened on the 1st of December last year, and it closes on the 15th of March coming at 5. So who can apply to the CTE? The consortium can have an academic partner, so it can be a university or any academic institution, an industrial partner, which is a small to medium enterprise, or slightly bigger company, which means any company with less than 500 employees and less than 100 billion turnover. System integrators and technology providers can be one of the partners as long as they are an industrial partner or academic. Important to remember, the consortium has to be made up of 3 entities and led by an industrial partner. So they have to be an SME or a slightly bigger company. On top of that, also it has to be cross-border. So at least 2 of the companies have to come from at least 2 different countries. Here, this table shows how the consortium can be organized. So you can have an academic partner from country one with an industrial partner from another country, and then have the productizer, which has to be industrial, either in any of the other three countries. Or you can also have an industrial partner with an industrial partner from countries one or two, and then your productizer in the third country. The eligible countries can be any country from EU member states, Horizon 2020 associated countries, or CEE countries, and the United Kingdom is still eligible. How do we evaluate the proposals? So the proposals need to be submitted via the Funding Box application website. Once we receive the proposal, which needs to be received before the deadline, there's an eligibility check done. That eligibility check will check if it's a small to medium-sized company, industrial partner, the things that I explained in the previous slide, that the correct consortium is there, that there's at least 2 different countries, and that the lead partner is the industrial partner. So these are the things that we'll check in the eligibility check. Once you pass the eligibility check, it goes on to the experts evaluation. In the experts evaluation, there will be 2 independent experts who are experts in this field, who will independently evaluate the proposals. They will score the proposals, and the average of those scores will enable us to create a ranking file of the top ranked proposals, which then goes on to a consensus meeting where the executive board and the evaluators decide on the final 4 CTDs to be selected, after which the sub-grant agreement is signed and the projects can start. So what criteria do we analyze? Excellence, impact, and implementation. I'm not going to read each one of these, but this information is in the guide for applicants, so you can see the detail there. But for excellence, it's the ambition, innovation, and soundness of the approach. For the impact, it's benefits of the collaboration, market opportunity, competition analysis, commercial strategy, and scalability. And for the implementation, the work plan, team, and the resources. How is the funding going to be distributed? So, as I mentioned before, each of the criteria will be scored between 0 and 5, with the threshold for each criteria being 3. So each of the criteria is scored by the 2 independent evaluators. At the end, the average of their scores are summed to create the final ranking score for each proposal, with the minimum score or threshold being 10. There is an additional point for if there's any member of the consortium from a Southeastern European region, there'll be an additional point added. You can see the list of the countries here. And on top of that, any proposals addressing current and future problems stemming from the COVID-19 crisis will receive 1 extra point. So within the application form, there'll be a question in there to say whether your solution is addressing the COVID-19 crisis and how. So you need to give more details on how your solution is addressing it. The financial support. So the funding is up to €80,000 per Pathfinder experiment, with a maximum of 60,000 per partner. Important to note that the financial support will be paid as a lump sum to the lead partner, and it is the responsibility of the lead partner to distribute the funds among the consortium partners. The payment arrangements. So if you're selected, if your project is selected, you'll meet with coaches, and the coaches will help you to develop your individual mentoring plan. So this is the plan of how you're going to implement your project. And that individual mentoring plan needs to be submitted 15 days after the signature of the sub-grant agreement. Upon that receipt, there will be the first 30% of the lump sum installment. At the end of month 5 will be the midterm report, which will analyze the progress, the KPIs that have been agreed with your coach. And at the end of month 9, at the end of the project, there'll be a final report where the overall project will be assessed by the mentoring committee. Here you can see this is how it's spread, how the mentoring committee will analyze the final report. It'll be on the quality 30%, the technical KPIs that were reached, the business KPIs, and 10% towards the deadline compliance. The scores come to a total of 10 points. So if it's under 7, it goes to the selection committee for discussion. The outcome there will either be payment or exclusion from the experiment. And if it's above 7 points, it automatically goes to payment of the percentage of the lump sum. This is the open call schedule. So it launched on the 1st of December. The open call deadline will be the 15th of March at 5 p.m. The evaluation and selection will occur in March, the consensus meeting in April, and we'll communicate the results in April as well, with the start of the experiment starting beginning of June and will end 9 months later at the end of March 2022. So how to apply? You can go to our Funding Box smartphone Funding Box website. On there, you'll see the link for the CTTE open call, and you can apply there. It'll open up an application, and it's quite a simple application that you can fill in. We've got, there's also a link in there for the guides and documents, so you can get the guide for applicants. There's also an FAQ with frequently asked questions. And if you have any doubts, you can go to our help desk, which is this address here on the slide. Post your question in there, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. And that's it. So, any questions from anyone? I'm happy to answer.